Welcome on into 19 on the Clock, your Tri-State High School and College Sports podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pushkar. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jackson McCarty. And Jackson, it's time for me.
Yes. Finally, yeah, we've had a lot of build-up.
You had your big week one, and obviously there was week 0 games, and we kind of talked about those a little bit. But this is the big week one for college football. If you didn't listen last week, we already talked about UC and Miami, who are playing tonight as this episode is coming out on Thursday. But there's big games on Saturday.
Yes,
there are. That's the best part.
Massive games on Saturday, some of which impact Tri-State teams.
Yes.
Or, Tri-State favorites.
I was saying Tri-State fandoms.
Yeah, there we go.
Is where we'll go with.
There we go.
But yeah, we will talk about those games in a minute. But obviously, you got your wish. High school football is back. Mm-hmm. Week one is done. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how yours and my predictions went? Coming out of last week.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping track of the games this year. Just the general overall record of the high school season, because we will obviously be predicting. EC versus Lawrenceburg. East Central won 39-12. We both had that one.
Yep.
St. X beat Lakota West 14-7. We both had St. X.
I think closer than we might have thought, but
yes, yeah, and both teams are so talented. And like I said over and over again last week, Tom Bolden is just a really, really hard coach to go against.
Yes,
but the Colonels did pull it off there, and then Lloyd beat Newcath 47-14. We both had that one. The one we separated on.
Yep.
Full transparency, in that episode, I wanted you to pick first.
And I wanted you to pick first.
Correct, because I didn't know which way I was going. So, my random dart throw-ish at Anderson ended up working in a big way.
Turned into a bullseye.
Yeah, 52-10 win over Cooper, which all the credit in the world to the Raptors, because with the amount of talent they lost, that shouldn't have been possible. Mm-hmm. But, that's just what Evan Dreyer and the Raptors do. So, they start their season looking like everybody from last year is still on their roster, because how many times did we see 50-point games last year from them?
But just about every time,
in a day, almost every Friday. Yeah. As we start the season, I'm 4-0, you're 3-1. Not a big separation. Just a rather shocking result in the C there.
It's funny because if you were going to tell me that the biggest blowout from the weekend, like to have me guess, I would have probably said probably Lloyd.
Yeah, same.
Maybe EC Lawrenceburg, because it was because I think on the level that 39-12 is where I would have expected it to be ish.
Yes.
But I would not have ever guessed Cooper was only held to 10 points.
Or that their defense, because they do have a strong defense. Yeah. To allow up 52 to a quarterback that really hasn't had the keys to the offense to this point. It is, I don't know if it's a cold start for Cooper or if it's the most horrifying sign for anyone in the ECC that's not Anderson, but we're going to be keeping track of it. You can bet on that.
I like both of those options.
Those are two massive storylines to follow this year for sure. And, since we're already talking about the ECC, why don't we talk about two ECC teams that are supposed to play on Friday? What a transition. That might actually be one of the only coherent ones I've ever done on this podcast.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that was – and not even planned. Made no attempt to plan that. Just happened.
Hey, there we go.
All right, Winton Woods, a team we talk about a lot on this podcast.
Yes.
Kings Knights. They don't usually get as much love, but they are a very talented squad. Let's start with the Warriors.
Okay.
The devil we know, if you will. They are 1-0 so far this year, 10-2 last year. They had a 21-14 win over Springfield, which was kind of a weird. It's kind of hard to tell, being outside of our DMA, how good of a team that is. But if I remember right, on Max Preps, they were 6-5 last year, but had a weirdly high state ranking this year. I wanted to say they were the 32nd ranked team in the state, which felt, I don't know if that's kids rising or whatever, but that. To try to give as much context as I can to a team that we don't get to cover.
Yes.
The big note that I want to take away from Winton Woods games, big shocker, to open the year, their defense is back. In total, as a unit, they had 2 interceptions. Shout out Nate Dawson, Christian Colson. They had 3 fumble recoveries. Shout out Nate Dawson again, Paul Nelson, Jalen Mercer. 5.5 tackles for loss as a team. Springfield held to 259 yards, 171 passing, 88 of those on the ground. So trying again to use that context, it's hard to tell how good it is. That's not as dominating as we've seen out of Winton Woods. Like most of last year, I think if you told them that they left the game allowing 260 yards, they'd have been like, really? That many? But again, I think Springfield on paper suggests that they're supposed to be a pretty good team.
Okay.
And so I'm going to take that at face value and say that the yards mark is not that concerning, but they forced plenty of turnovers. They got to the backs, and they did what they had to do to win the game.
Okay.
Chad Murphy keeps that defense in pristine condition. If this is what they looks like week 1, I think it's going to just keep on evolving. Kings. Last week, they beat Sycamore 44-7, so obviously they start 1-0. They were 9-3 last year. I could not believe the stat line Grant Nuri put up in week 1. So through 11 passes, completed on 10 of them, 206 yards to give him his reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
On the ground, ran it 4 times, 13 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last year, almost 1,900 passing yards, about 61% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, had a bit of a fumbling issue, but also had a couple touchdowns. I think he had 3 fumbles, but 6 touchdowns on the ground. It seems like OU might be interested, but if he keeps doing what he just did last week and keeps up that high level of efficiency, he's a big kid. He's like 6'4". He's got a good frame. It seems as though he's put in the work in the offseason to continue his development. He could have been a guy that at the end of the year I sit here and I go, we should have talked about Kings earlier. We should have made a bigger point to mention Grant Nuri earlier. And I think week 1 is a great sign that we might be moving towards that.
Is he a junior or a senior?
Senior, I believe.
Senior, okay.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said, I think his only offer to this point is Ohio University.
That's the only thing listed on 24/7.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, he's got long ways to go, obviously, from early signing day and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's still plenty of time in the year to show what you got and things like that.
Absolutely.
So let me present you with this, because when I look at his stat line, it is obviously good.
Yes.
Averaging about 20 yards a pass. Fantastic.
Getting completion on 1.
Yeah. Is that just the way that Kings plays, is a low volume passing game?
So they're having to readjust. Obviously, when you get out that far ahead that quickly, you don't really have to pass.
Sure.
And like, it's not like their running game was all that impressive. I want to say that their primary back had like 20-ish touches for like 80-ish yards.
Okay.
But the real kicker is that Carson Lindholm graduated last year, and he was a big-time rusher for them.
Yes.
So really it's hard to answer what the Kings offense is supposed to look like this year, because Nuri is the primary facilitator now. You leaned on Lindholm, kind of like what Harrison had set up with Dickie Angle and Cole Coops. Like, Dickie Angle could absolutely get the job done. Cole Coops was just that talented of a back that you put it in his hands, and the passing game is secondary.
Yes.
Now you don't really have that primary established thing.
Okay.
So I would love to sit here and tell you that, give you a straight answer on that. And, like, yeah, it's going to be low volume this year or whatever. I really do think it'll be an uptick in volume for him. I don't know that means 30 attempts in a game on any given night unless you're real down.
But to me, if this was like 20, I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a more normal amount of passes in a game. I don't know. It's one of those things in my head where I was like, why only 11? Like, if he's making 10 out of 11 throws, why aren't you throwing it more?
I really do think because it was just they got up so quick and their defense was doing such like good work on the other side that they were like, we don't really need to.
Okay.
He got 200 yards on 11 throws, 10 attempts, 4 touchdowns all told. Like, not really much need for it. Just kind of take your foot off the brake and save some of that energy for whenever you're going up against a very scary Winton Woods defense.
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of the big storyline I'd say that you need to keep out for in this one. Maybe my favorite game on the slate this week.
This is a very good matchup.
Yes. Yeah, very, very fun one. A lot of question marks.
Are you, while there are question marks, are you leaning one way or another right now?
I think, and I'm probably going to kick myself for this because you know how vocally supportive I am of Winton Woods and like the atmosphere that they bring to games.
Yes.
This is at Kings.
Okay.
I think that, and I've also, I haven't given them credit on this podcast, but I do love going to a Kings game. You can a lot of times see Kings Island out there in the background, and they have maybe the coolest jerseys in the region, in my opinion. They've kind of got like an Ole Miss look to them. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But regardless, I think that the home field advantage, how Norrie looked this past week, knowing how big of an opponent Winton Woods is, I think that Kings gets it rolling. The offense stays where it needs to be. They get the win this week.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going.
I'm picking Winton Woods.
Okay.
And I was actually kind of riding that line again where I was 55 Winton Woods, 45 Kings. Mm-hmm. I like defenses as your core testament in a way.
Absolutely.
And that's what the Warriors have always shown. I don't know how Sycamore, like the challenge of Sycamore compares to the challenge of Springfield. Mm-hmm. And, obviously the transitive property only applies in math.
Yes.
And when there's sometimes letters involved.
There's no such thing as football math.
But there's no such thing as football math. But we like to pretend like there is.
Yes, there is.
And to me, I think that when you have, like you said, if you told this Winton Woods team last year that they would give up 260 yards, they would be like, huh?
Yeah.
It might be a little bit of a wake-up call of, we let this one go, and not necessarily go, but, we let them get a little too frisky. Next week, we're locked down.
Yeah. Oh, and it's entirely possible. I don't think that Coach Murphy's going back to practice on any day this week and being like, you know what, that was a serviceable effort. Like that, he's probably
you guys did okay. Yeah. We're not changing anything.
He's probably getting a higher volume than we can provide into these mics.
Yes.
But regardless, you're right. It's a tough thing to bet against Winton Woods.
Yeah,
it really, really is. But Kings does entice me, and I do think that the ECC, while we did talk about Winton and Anderson at the beginning of the year when we were doing all the preview stuff, I do think it is a 3-horse race.
Okay.
I think that my not including Kings needed to be rectified early in the year because I do think they're a very talented team. And obviously I wouldn't be picking them if I didn't agree with that statement.
Absolutely. All right.
All right. So let's move. So this slate, I know last week we did 4 games of where it was 1 Kentucky, 1 cross section, 1 Ohio, and then an Indiana.
Yeah.
The slate has kind of shifted around. Obviously, you want to bring out some of those big games for week 1. We don't have a specific Kentucky game this week, but we do have a Kentucky team playing a staple in Cincinnati. Yeah. Covington Catholic, the Colonels, going up against Elder, the Tigers.
Yes.
Or Panthers. Sorry, I apologize. I also think I called St. X the Colonels earlier because I was thinking of this CovCath game. They are the Bombers.
They are the Bombers.
I'm having a rough day. Sorry. Regardless,
it's Wednesday.
It is.
We're trying to get through the hump day.
It is, and it's early. I don't have to think this early in the day most of the time. Yeah,
it's true. He does come in early for me.
I come in an hour later than this on every other day of the week. But regardless, the Colonels are looking to bounce back.
Okay.
They are 0-1. They had to play a very, very tough Ryle team. Lost that one 26-20. Close game, obviously. And they were an 11-3 team last year.
Mm-hmm.
The whole focus I want to do from their week 1 is reasons for optimism. Because when your team as talented as CovCath is and you start 0-1, it feels like a lot more lights are coming on the dashboard than they actually are. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's just the check engine light. Probably lost no 2 sensor. You're going to be all right. Number 1, cash
hit a weird bump and all the sensors are set off.
Literally, yeah. I'm not going to tell that story. It's a car story. Yeah, I am. So sorry.
Go for
it. Right before I moved off to college, I had my buddy lived in this place and his driveway was super steep. And so one time I kind of bottomed out my car a little bit coming off of it.
Yeah.
And the next day, not even right after, the next day, my check engine light came on, and I spent like a week not even wanting to take it in because I was so panicked. I had just knocked an O2 sensor loose coming out of the driveway. It was such a cheap fix.
Yeah.
But I had spent, like, I was like, I can't tell my dad. Like, I just got this car. It's going to be a problem. And it was, it was something so silly. That's what I think Covcath is dealing with right now.
Okay. Just a little loose sensor.
Yes, exactly. Like, for example, Cash Harney, their quarterback, very high-ranking guy on the top 19. On 19, he still looked good. As a passer, he had his bumps, 184 passing yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. But when you add 130 rush yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, you're still providing your value.
Absolutely.
In a big way. Their running back, Dylan Geyser, he's going to be able to win them some games if they need him to. 59 rushing on 10 attempts, plus 81 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown. So their primary receiver while also being their primary back. It's a very hard to describe offense. You know, they lean into their run significantly.
Sure.
But their running back is still also their primary pass catcher.
Yeah.
So you don't really get a break if you're one of those two guys, but the good news is those are two very, very talented dudes at the core of your offense. And then their defense did really cause problems for Nathan Verax, the quarterback over at Ryle. He was 3 for 11, 26 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
That's surprising.
Yeah. And he was like I don't know. I don't think he was a top 19 guy, but he was borderline if he wasn't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trust in him. Obviously, Jacob Savage made the list. Jacob Savage, in my mind, is a primary defender, but he's also very, very good at running the ball. Mm-hmm. He didn't go that crazy. Like, all things considered, he is such a talented dude that 14 touches, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do you want to minimize that end zone effect? Absolutely. But sub 100 yards for the guys that we have running around in the tri-state, like, a lot of these guys are going to the college level. Mm-hmm. Jacob Savage is going to play college ball.
Yeah.
A lot of the dudes on just across the defense, when you have 11 guys and really like 15 of the people that are rotating in, a lot of those guys aren't. And so to hold him to under 100, I think you take that. Obviously, it feels better if you get a win, but it's not a be-all, end-all situation. You just lost to a really good team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know we have not talked about Ryle that much this year, but I know we will.
Yes.
Because you can just kind of feel it coming for this.
Absolutely. I believe they're playing Connor this week, and I almost put that game on, but I do think that they win by a pretty substantial amount to Connor. Okay. And so I didn't, I try to find the games that I think will be the closest.
Yes. And
so that way, like with predictions and whatnot, I want to give you guys an actual guide on what you should go out and watch if you have a Friday to kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Covcath. No hope has been lost for me.
No.
I still feel good about them. It was just a coin flip that they happened to pick the wrong side of. With Elder, a team, the only GCL South team that we did not talk about in the previews. Because Moeller was on the teams that I was excited for. St. X, LaSalle got the spotlight within the GCL South specifically. Also, something I learned from FQ, Javier Carter, the quarterback at LaSalle, we did not hype him up enough. Okay. I guess I did not hype him up enough. He is going to be a star. And I legitimately cannot wait to talk about LaSalle again on this podcast. Because I think that when you get to you're going to
give me the highlights.
Yes.
And then, so
right there.
I'll be like, okay, that's cool sitting here. And then I'll watch it. And then the next week I'll be like, what? Let's talk about LaSalle again.
Yes, that is the beauty of that. That's maybe my favorite behind-the-scenes layer of this podcast is that once we get done with these conversations, you get to see the people that we were just talking about because you have to edit it, and it brings so much more to principle immediately. Even because I know you watch FQ and stuff, so it's like you almost there's so many games that names are gonna fly by and whatever.
Yes.
That whenever you get it in that isolation, it's just so much cooler.
Especially when I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I got to look up this guy's number. Okay, I'm looking for 9.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I do, like, for making the notes for this podcast.
See who in the highlights we go. Oh.
Yeah, knowing somebody's good and then seeing it's good are just so wildly different things. Yes. Regardless. Elder, like we mentioned, not been touched on at this point in the year. Their defense has also not been touched.
Okay.
Mount Zion Prep came to town last year. I believe they were from Maryland, or last week. They lost 34-0. Elder just handled business. They were 6-6 last year as a unit, obviously starting 1-0. But the big focus is what I would consider the best defensive performance of the week.
Okay.
Some of these numbers are nasty. For example, these are all according to the GCL South website. There's like a little team bunching. They didn't even have explicit team or like player stats for Mount Zion Prep, just the listed team stats, which suggested that Mount Zion Prep had 1 first down all game.
Okay.
They went 3 for 12 passing on 23 yards.
Okay.
They ran the ball 15 times for negative 27 yards.
And so if I do the math there, that is a net of negative 4 yards.
Ding, 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 Brad. Yeah, that's good.
Pretty good.
0 for 7 on third down.
Okay.
0 penalties as a team, Elder, while Mount Zion Prep had 6 for 38 yards. So not only was it clean scoreboard-wise, it was clean rules-wise.
Yeah.
0 penalties is crazy whenever you're doing that kind of damage.
Yeah, even just like, a scrappy pass interference type call or something like that.
A pass interference, guys getting so anxious about like how good they're doing that you get an offsides call.
Or somebody jumps.
Right.
Things like that.
But no, offense nor defense. Offense nor defense, clean as a whistle. Yeah. Oh, and then they also had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So what do you need? Obviously, this is not the ideal way to start the season for Covcath.
Mm-hmm.
Ryle to Elder, you don't have any time to build confidence. But there is a pathway to go 0-2 and burn up the road.
Sure.
We've seen it.
And still end up, 11-3 again or whatever.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5 teams that we talk about throughout the previews that was like, oh, yeah, they lost their couple of games at the beginning of the year and then didn't lose again until they got to wherever they lost in the playoffs.
Yes.
That is entirely possible. I'm not going to say for sure that's what's going to happen. I'm going to cede the floor to you on this one first, on the prediction.
Okay, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Elder was the team we didn't talk about.
Correct.
Obviously, part of that is just a lower expectation for Elder versus Moeller, LaSalle, St. X.
Yes.
6-6 last year. I don't know anything about Mount Zion Prep.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I did look it up. It's in Maryland. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
That was all I did.
Crab cakes.
There's a very good chance to me, like, when I think of high school football states, where I go, I am probably going to watch a great game, even at the lowest level or at the highest level, whatever size school. I go Texas, I go Indiana, I go Ohio. And luckily in my life, those are 3 states that I have lived in and gotten to watch high school football games in. If going into that game, I would have been like, yeah, it was going to be Elder, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, I look at what Cash Harney did against that Ryle team. And correct me if I'm wrong. That's the team that has been together since like 6th grade.
Yeah. That's Virax and Savage and
getting that close to a strong Ryle team that we saw last year was making moves, causing damage to a lot of teams. I think even just being within that one score is a bigger positive than blowing out
a
random school in Maryland.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
No, I know. I'm with you. That's like, that was the whole, how much do you weight the Centerville win for winning? Like it's very similar grounds.
And that's why I, Springfield. But that is why I will go with Covcath.
What did I say?
You said Centerville.
Oh, yeah, no, well, you weight a Centerville win pretty big. Springfield, I won't attest to, but sorry, yeah. So you are going to go with Covcath.
I'm going to go with Covcath.
Okay. I think
there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah, I mean, there will be a wrong answer on Saturday,
yeah.
But you know what? I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with Covcath because I do think you're right. I see a lot of reasons for optimism, obviously, with the Colonels and how their season's moving forward. I do think Elder is a solid school.
Yes,
I think that
absolutely
they can beat anybody on a good day. But they do feel a little bit like kind of a jack of all trades team. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's
yes.
one specific guy that is truly going to elevate them to that level.
The other thing I think is that this is, in a way, I think the real litmus test for Elder.
Yes.
That then I can kind of base things on as we move forward.
Totally. Yeah, because Mount Zion Prep doesn't do, like that doesn't, prep usually is like, I like to see that in a football team's name because that makes it feel like it might be something.
That's more important.
Prep or Academy, like come on. Like there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to have more faith than I should. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's, it feels like a team that they scheduled because it made sense. For whatever reason, there's a lot of draw like that because Muller's lone loss last year,
North Carolina.
Yeah, because it was something Creek.
Yeah, well, and they pulled I can't remember if it was Dwenger, Lures, or Homestead from Fort Wayne as well. Which I mean, like obviously it's just Indiana, but it's a 3-hour difference in driving and things like that. You got to go all the way up I-69.
Yeah.
To get there. So, but yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they won that game. Probably. But like, and Lures and Dwenger are the Moeller and St. X of Fort Wayne,
right? To
put it into perspective, like they are the Catholic schools. They've had incredible programs and things like that. So, go to state championships fairly often. So
constantly and consistently,
exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna roll out.
We'll roll with
them.
Covcath
in this week. Now this game.
Yes.
I do think we'll agree. Just to be perfectly transparent here, I do think that we will probably agree on who wins this game.
Yep.
But you cannot, or I could not, in good conscience, skip this game.
Not talk about this game.
We, as a station, have a weekly vote now on what the final quarter game of the week is going to be. This week, almost 4,000 people voted. I think like 2,800 of them picked this game. So we are going to have extensive coverage on Friday night, live from Reading, playing against Batavia. And for one, shout out the small schools. Because, like, legitimately, they rallied hard to get to this spot. And I think that it's going to be one of the coolest environments that you're going to see on the slate at all this year, purely because they have put in so much work to rally this much support for the game, so those bodies are probably going to be there. And if 2,800 people voted for it, and you can get half of that, you can get 1,400 people cheering on this team or these teams. I think that's going to be real cool to be a part of, and I think it's probably Jeremy going to that if I'm not mistaken. But either way, going to be fantastic.
I'd imagine it's one of the guys.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have live coverage out there regardless. Last week we had 3 people at the game of the week. So it might not even – it might be expansive.
It could be most of the team.
Literally. And with voter turnout like that, we should.
Yeah.
But regardless, let's talk some ball, right?
Yep.
The Batavia Bulldogs going to be the away team here. They are 1-0. They beat Madeira 42-14 last week. Madeira, not a team we talk about on this podcast very often, kind of in the middle low tier. Hopefully can kind of start to build up. But Batavia was an 8-3 school last season. Their passing offense is gross, and in a good way. Like how people say nasty, but it means nice.
Sick nasty.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, sure. Let's start with Carson Harris, their quarterback. Last week, 28 for 41, so 68-ish completion rate, 438 passing yards, plus 23 rushing, 6 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do?
Well, and you might be asking yourself, who was catching all those touchdowns? 2 guys.
Oh, okay.
2 dudes caught every last bit of those touchdowns.
Yeah, why not?
Marcus Eubanks,
okay,
very, very talented receiver. 9 receptions, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns, a long of 35. So his average is pretty tried and true. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have anything that just, like, took the top off the defense. 35, big gain, not skewing your numbers too big.
Yeah, I mean, just short of 20.
Correct.
Reception.
Yeah.
Is the word I'm looking for.
Yep. Yeah, like he's just or no, it's a little bit above 20 reception because 7 would be 140. Be like 22.
nine receptions for 174
Oh,
yards.
sorry. I looked down at the wrong reception thing.
Correct.
The other guy has over 20.
Correct.
Xavier Eisen.
22.
Correct. There. Yeah. See, look at it. I was just doing the wrong person's
doing the wrong math.
Yeah. 7 receptions, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns, a long of 80. So he just destroyed the defense on one play.
Yeah.
And then 3 rushes for 16 yards because why not?
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's like their primary back because the only people that got touches were him and Carson.
I know that like
they're not runners. They're not track stars.
I know this is like one of those stats that you would never get for high school, but I would love to know the yards after catch. With all these.
Yeah.
Because I am curious. I'm like, is Carson just bombing it? Is Marcus and Xavier just breaking ankles and sprinting the entire length of the field?
I believe we have the highlights from this game.
And I'm sure we do.
And I believe it's a combo of both, but if I remember right.
You know what I can do actually while you tell us about Reading?
I'll go check.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, it's
teamwork.
It is a genuinely insane passing offense. And I know like those numbers are not going to be replicated every week, but those being your 3 pillars, good luck, Godspeed to the defenses you go up against. Now let's talk about Reading, the Blue Devils. They are starting 0-1. They lost to Williamsburg 28-7 last week. Williamsburg is a good team. Like we don't talk about them a whole lot. We really don't talk about the Southern Buckeye probably as much as we should, but they were a 9-3 SBAC team last year. So you take that one on the chin. Reading also 5-5 last year, trying to get those steps up. Gonna have to see how that all unfolds. The silver linings for them in that loss: Mark Smith did really well as a running back. 12 attempts, 62 yards, 5.2 average. Receiver Artavius Patterson, he broke one loose. You have to be impressed with that. 1 catch, but for 47 yards and a touchdown, which obviously was their lone score. And then 5 tackles for losses as a unit feels promising to me. Mm-hmm. So I presume that you've gotten to watch some of the videos.
Carson Harris throws bombs.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah.
I watched 2 and I went, oh.
Also a top 19 athlete.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yes. Sky's blue, right?
I'll be honest. Both of those were on the run.
Yeah.
Too, and I was just like, oh, and he's just throwing them up there. Like, all right, go for it.
Something I learned this week. Sorry, because like I believe Marcus Eubanks was one of our candidates for the top play. Mm-hmm. The person who won, I think, the Hefty Lefty's son, plays ball out here.
Oh.
Yeah. Taden Lorenzen, Jared Lorenzen's kid, is a Highland Bluebird, I believe a running back for Highlands, and like had a walk-off touchdown for him on Friday. So it's just kind of neat that like obviously we knew like Kitna and that kind of stuff was going on, but the Hefty Lefty is such a revered athlete, especially for like our generation, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of those that's like, the old Hawaii quarterback. Don't let me fall. Colt Brennan. He's like like Colt Brennan and like kind of that ilk of like really cool highlight athlete type thing to go back and watch from an era that you might not remember. So it's just kind of cool.
And he was born in Covington. Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we'll talk about Taden Lorenzen before long because it's just kind of fun.
Do you want? So I'm assuming we, as since I sat here and watched those throws and made visible reaction, that it's assumed we both are going with Batavia for this game.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
Okay.
Which no shade, no disrespect to Reading.
Yeah.
They've got a very supportive group of fans. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking forward to seeing the turnout for that.
I wonder, do we know where Ken Baker's going?
Because
Ken Baker, if you guys don't know, for Fox 19 now, goes to games Friday mornings and like kind of helps get that team rallied up
hangs
before
out with
the games,
the pep squads and things like that. Don't click on the wrong thing. He is going to Boone County.
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah,
but I presume these are all scheduled in advance, so it's not like we can
they're
synchronize that.
Let me tell you, they have been scheduled out into September already. So
there you go. That's fun. But
he's on top of things.
Who doesn't want to have Ken Baker at their hanging out?
And that's the best part of my day is getting to have Ken Baker on my show.
He's so cool. Regardless, yes, Batavia is the pick here. Okay. And then do want to quickly shout out Oak Hills versus Lakota East. That'll be the game I'll be at. Cool. I haven't fully decided if I want to commit to like how they do it on like syndicated television. You know, like how when Herb Street's calling a game, he doesn't predict it.
I think we can hold off on predicting it. I'm fine with that.
But I do at least want to make sure to mention it because while like Lakota East, very talented school, Oak Hills, up and coming, promising setup. The big storyline, Ryder Hooks, is around about 100 yards away from breaking the Lakota East rushing record. Okay. So hopefully I'll be there to capture that.
You'll be the one that gets to say, I got this footage.
Exactly. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's also going to be a very fun game. Suggest you check any of those out. Should all be very fun times.
Yes, I am looking forward to watching the highlights from last week tomorrow, and also seeing what comes out of these games because these in a way are very fun close matchups, as testified by I think us splitting a little bit.
More
naturally.
This time, 2 of our 3 games were different. Yeah, which was kind of weird because week 1 did feel a little bit more like big. I don't want to say big even, but like it felt like they had the goal of making tougher, larger matchups in week 1, but it still wasn't as divisive as we ended up on what is going to be a very fun slate on week 2.
Yes, absolutely. But what we also have is a great week 1 slate in college football.
Yes. Oh, getting to talk. The fact that we get to talk about Ohio State, Texas while we're getting paid is a very very fun part of my life.
And I'm glad you're excited to talk about them. Yes. I will be holding them.
Yes, we do have to wait. I know, but I just wanted to say it.
Okay, I guess you're allowed. All right.
Come on. It's going to be in the thumbnail. They know that we're going to talk about it. I'm not spoiling anything.
They know what we're here. I know what we're all here for.
Just don't skip through. Work up with us.
Yeah,
it's a process.
And yeah, so we're going to talk about that last. I did want to quickly mention, because unlike you, where you wanted to quickly mention someone at the end, I'm going to quickly mention someone off the top, and we're going to move on from it, because Louisville is kicking off their season against Eastern Kentucky. Yes. They are 38.5-point favorites. I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, they got to cover that. But like, yeah, if you're not like 4 touchdowns up, at least I would maybe start questioning something.
No offense to EKU, but like Louisville is supposed to be the cream of the crop in the ACC. They're supposed to be one of the top 3 teams in that conference this year.
Yeah, top 3, top 4, I'd say.
Yeah, it would be them, Clemson, Miami, and SMU. Yeah. Because I almost said Florida State, but I don't have faith in that. Regardless, and Louisville should win by 40.
Yeah, and it's just it's a team that has always consistently had good offenses and is a offensive-minded coaching staff.
We'll say the new quarterback thing could be tricky.
I don't have a problem with Miller Moss. I think he's. I don't think he's necessarily like, oh, this is the difference maker that's going to win them the ACC this year, but I do think like they have somebody that they can depend on, and that's good. And we kind of talked about it when we started, because that's the one nice thing too about Louisville is that since we talked about them after ACC Media Days, not much has changed.
Yes.
Whereas other teams have had some shifts and announcements and things like that, which we will talk about now.
Some real weirdness.
So we're going to stay in Kentucky. We're going to move up the road to Lexington because Big Blue Nation kicks off their season against the Toledo Rockets.
Old Jason Candle.
Yes. And as you and I have discussed, solid coach.
Very.
Arguably between him and Chuck Martin at this point in the MAC for like just the most dependable coaches in that conference.
Yeah, they're definitely at the top of the totem pole. I just think that one of them has been waiting for a P5 offer, and the other one has been kind of like, I'm cool in Miami.
Oh yes, yeah. I wonder who that could be.
Well, it wasn't a guessing game.
Yeah, and I mean you look at who Candle followed, and he has now given Iowa State like the most bowl games by a coach in history, and consistent winning seasons and things like that.
That's another guy that's been waiting on a job for a long time.
Matt Campbell?
Yeah.
I
Every year.
I only think that, like, after watching that Iowa State-Kansas State game this weekend, that I don't think he necessarily wants to go somewhere else.
I think that he wants to go to a big spot, but he's not going to sacrifice what he has unless he's going to a big spot.
Yeah, like if and I don't know why, but it would be like if Ohio State called him up.
Yes.
Type thing.
Or like, I don't know. What's a realistic? I feel like there's a handful of SEC options that Nebraska would be interesting one.
Nebraska would be interesting because he's like in that area already.
Correct.
Things like that for recruiting, but yeah, let's talk about Kentucky.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Whoops. You don't want to talk about Matt Campbell one more time, even though he has no.
We talked about the Big 12 last week. Come on. Also, we talked about Nebraska last week. Stop bringing up Nebraska.
We did. I don't know. I also think Matt Rule's good. I don't know why I think that seat will be open. I shouldn't have suggested them.
Yeah, and I know I suggested Ohio State only because who knows?
Yeah, Ryan. They might fire Ryan Day at the podium picking up the national championship.
So actually, a seat that may be open. I don't actually believe this, but there is a very good chance that Kentucky has a bad season this year.
Yeah.
And I mean that as like bad.
Yes.
So we'll talk about there's some highlights that I'll mention right now. Zach Calzada was named QB1. If that name sounds familiar to you, it is because he has been playing since what, 2021? 2019. 2019.
Yeah, since like
this is his 7th year.
Since the first Trump administration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Since right after I graduated college.
Since right after I graduated high school.
I hate that. But if you are an SEC fan, you will know him from playing at A&M for 2 years.
Yeah.
I believe it was. He is also the quarterback that beat Alabama at one point. Transferred to Auburn, didn't play there because of an injury, and has spent the last 2 years at Incarnate Word, a division or an FCS program out of San Antonio, Texas. Yes.
Yeah.
So many quarterbacks have been coming out of Incarnate Word recently.
Yeah, they've become kind of a factory for it.
And I was listening to Split Zones Duo kind of talk about Kentucky earlier this week or early last week, and as they kind of mentioned with Calzada, there's two ways to look at him. It could be washed up, respectfully washed up former SEC prospect, comes out of an FCS program, or it is player who never had time to develop, spent 2 years working on his game at FCS, and now is ready to prove himself in his last year.
Can I tell you why I think that it's the former?
Go for it.
He was given the resources at A&M. They did want him to be the guy.
Yes.
Did it turn out a little bit like Bo Nix at Auburn? Sure. But Bo Nix at Auburn showed enough that the guys at Oregon wanted Bo Nix.
Yes.
Calzada didn't.
No.
Did he go to Auburn? Yeah, but he was with Peyton Thorne, wasn't he? Like I think he was brought in on that same class. I think that quarterback room would have been Peyton Thorne, him, and Robbie Ashford.
That's so insane to mention.
Like maybe I might be wrong.
No, I can I just Zach Calzada.
Yeah, please fact check me.
But it's just when it's not even necessarily that you're like him at Auburn. It's just when you were like, yeah, he was with Peyton Thorne, who just got let go by
the Bengals. And has been on the Bengals team or like practice squad adjacent for like 2 years, and was also a Michigan State guy.
Yeah,
he had a whole lifetime at Michigan State before he got to Auburn, and really wasn't ever that great.
All I'm saying is just we don't need 7 years.
No. Well, and like the COVID thing has we've pretty much expired.
Robbie
on that, right?
Ashford, Zach Calzada, Holden Grenier, Trey Lindsey, Sawyer Pate.
No.
I'm just looking for quarterback each
Yeah.
time. No.
Then who was the starter that year? Was it Robbie Ashford?
It might have been. Hold on. Because, yeah, he didn't have a 90 on his back.
You might just be easier going to the reference page and then passing yards.
Yeah.
for that year.
Finley, Ashford, Calzada, Lindsay.
Oh, TJ Finley? Is that?
Yeah, TJ Finley.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, because he was a junior. Calzada was a sophomore. Yeah, I believe it was TJ Finley now that I think about it.
Yeah, so then...
That or Trey Lindsay played some time, but I think he also got injured at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played against Western Kentucky and then didn't play again.
It was over. Okay.
But yes. But yeah,
I am going to pat myself on the back for knowing that Robbie Ashford was in that QB room, though.
Hey, good job.
I'm going to take that.
You knew the guy.
Kind of. I did think that the guy was Peyton Thorne, but
and I'll say this: I've weirdly spent more time watching film to talk about this week than I've ever spent any other week.
Sounds like a good week.
And so, watching Zach Calzada at A&M, I was like, this is an undeveloped talent who is overthrowing passes, can read the defense pretty well. But I don't think it translated into the arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Watching his Incarnate Word film, I was much happier with it.
Okay.
Where it looked like he had control of the ball, was putting the ball where he wanted it to be. But at the end of the day, you're in the FCS playing. I mean, his offensive line made a pocket that was so big you could have fit like 9 phones and 4 sets of car keys in it.
It was the pocket of parachute pants. Like it was.
Yeah, it was parachute pant pocket.
Yeah,
exactly. And so I think for Kentucky, it's like, yeah, you got a guy that's going to work for a year. This isn't the long-term plan. They do have a recruit coming in that's pretty talented.
Mm-hmm. Who might that be? Matt Ponatoski, perchance?
Yeah. And then they do have a good wide receiver, Jamori Macklin.
Mm-hmm.
He transferred in, got put in the slot, didn't do well. But it was kind of noted that the last 2 games he moved to the outside, played against Texas and Louisville, tough programs,
very,
and had a very impactful role there.
Yes.
And so I think if you keep him on the outside, that is something to look forward to. If you wanted to guess what the estimated win total for Kentucky this year is?
So obviously they'll still have 3 non-cons.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll have 4 non-cons because one of them will be Louisville. I'm going to say that Vegas set their line at 4.5.
They did. Do you want me to run through who all they're playing real quick and you tell me how they get to 5 wins?
Yep. Got
it. Toledo,
mm-hmm.
Ole Miss,
okay.
Eastern Michigan, South Carolina,
mm-hmm.
Georgia, mm-hmm. Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee Tech, Vandy, Louisville.
Okay, so I've got 4 fingers up right now,
mm-hmm.
and that was because of, like, best case.
Mm-hmm.
Toledo, Tennessee Tech was in there.
Yep.
Auburn was in there, and then there was another non-con that was like kind of a
Eastern
Michigan.
Vandy is the 4.5,
and that's only because Diego Pavia kind of annoyed me, and I've started to root on his downfall a little bit.
Well, if I can be real with you, Vandy and Auburn both are games where it's like, well, yeah, if Auburn and Vandy are worse than last year and fall apart,
yeah,
it feels like it's a Kentucky game to win.
I don't think it's a Kentucky game to win. I just think it's an open game.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah, because I still think like Clark Lee might be a better coach currently than Stoops is.
Yes. So yeah, I mean that's why I'm like, there's a good chance that they have a 4-win season, miss a bowl, and is that enough that they would move on from Stoops is a question that I don't have an answer to.
I would think that Stoops, I think for both parties it's just kind of necessary because
mm-hmm.
I don't think that Stoops is a bad coach.
No.
But I don't think Kentucky is like this program that's like assumed to have a lot of wins. But we do know that they can succeed.
Yes.
And it's the SEC.
And I think Kentucky fans aren't the next team that we're going to talk about.
No.
When they get a 9-10 win season, they go, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great year.
100%.
Obviously, like, I mean, I know Kentucky fans want to go to the national championship or want to play in the playoffs, things like that. Everybody does. But there's also, you get realistic about it sometimes where you're like, okay, well, yeah, we're not doing that this year. Like it's kind of like when Louisville had Lamar Jackson. It's like, okay, well, that's the catalyst to really give us a chance to go for a national championship. And when they weren't able to meet it, it was kind of like, okay, well, that was
the end of it. Yeah, it was like you had that with Bridgewater, then you had it with Lamar. But you're right. I I think that Kentucky has put itself in a position where it's kind of hard to put the genie back in the bottle with Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you get back to being a consistent 7-win school? Probably under him. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't seem – it seems like he's lost his foothold since the whole portal ordeal has become a more functioning beast. So I think at this point you're probably better served to try to find somebody that uses it a little bit better than he does.
I think that's a fair take. So let me see where
maybe Jason Candle, like legitimately, like he's waiting for a spot, and he's proven that he can win in kind of a weird spot consistently.
Let me see if I can find the.
Is Jason Candle from Ohio? I can research that, but I was wondering where because like obviously you want to try to get the geographical links if you can.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure where Candle is from.
Yeah, he's from Salem, Ohio.
Okay.
So, but like still, like that's a bordering state to Kentucky. It's not like he's going some wide breadth away.
So let me, actually, I want to look at this. I want to look at the line for this weekend.
Toledo, UK.
Yeah.
Okay. I just to be perfectly forthright, I do think this is a game Kentucky wins just because it is ultimately SEC versus not SEC, P5 versus G5, or P4 versus G5.
Current spread is 9.5
in favor
of Kentucky.
Okay.
I
think, to be perfectly honest, I think Toledo
covers.
is they cover. But I also think that Toledo is probably a better functioning unit.
Yes.
It's just I think.
You might just raw, like...
Yeah. And it's in Lexington, right?
Yes, it is in Lexington.
You might just out-talent.
And I think that's a fair take.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you. If I was going to pick a game or pick a team to win, I actually would pick Toledo here.
Really?
I like Toledo. Toledo and Miami are teams in Ohio that are 3 MAC teams that I think can knock off lower end SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC teams.
I could see that. And I'm not, like, by any means, like, I'm not shocked that you're predicting that.
Mm-hmm.
I just, something in my head is telling me, like, it almost feels too obvious to actually happen.
Yeah. But I think that what this game will show is, do Kentucky fans need to worry about this year or not?
Yeah.
Because I think if you come out here and you get blown up on Toledo, then you're even further from getting close to a 5-win season.
Well, yeah, because Toledo's one of like the only one of 5 that like is legitimately like which is like I know that they beat Ole Miss last year.
Yeah,
and like that was like
Mississippi State.
Yeah, there you go.
But and Mississippi State was the bottom of the SEC, and Kentucky could possibly be the bottom of the SEC this year. You know what I mean?
Hold on, yeah, but Kentucky had a real close game against somebody they shouldn't have.
Georgia.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because didn't Georgia also have a really close one against Vandy? Like, it was like a real weird.
No, Vandy beat Bama. Like,
right.
There's all those games.
But
like,
it was,
I know.
That was still like supposed to be the national champion.
Yeah, and I think, I still think that this Kentucky defense has lost a lot of production that it had last year.
Yeah. Kentucky did beat Ole Miss last year.
Okay.
Yeah, they 20-17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also.
And then Georgia.
You were saying Kentucky to beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Toledo beat Mississippi State.
Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah, we were both the wrong way around.
Misunderstanding.
Yes. And then never mind. That was December of 23.
Okay.
I was about to say, and then Clemson by 3 apparently, but I was like, why don't I not remember that game last year?
That was
because it was a bowl. Either way.
So you want to go with Kentucky, and I'll take Toledo on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
And that's why we kind of have to split it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And so then of course the big game of the week, the game that has been talked about all off season, as both conferences fight over how many spots should be in the college football playoff, and also non-conference scheduling and all of that fun stuff.
Yes.
Number 3 Ohio State playing number 1 Texas in Columbus. The last game for Lee Corso as well.
Yes. And
you can watch it at noon right here on Fox.
That is emotional.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't even really know where to start with this one. Because obviously reigning and defending.
Let's start with. Here's my thing.
Okay.
I don't think there's ever going to be a year or a day where I go, well, the question is the talent on Ohio State.
No.
Because arguably the most questionable thing is their quarterback. Yes. Julian Sayin was named starting QB. He's a sophomore. Watch the spring game footage when you walked in, I think. He has a nice touch on it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
He's a good cuter. I mean, he looks like a guy that could win some games at Ohio State.
He looks like a guy that Ohio State goes, we're gonna get another year out of you, and you're gonna be way better next year. But this is your year to learn the ropes. Because he had some overthrows. I don't think he's gonna be perfect. I think he may be a little under Will Howard.
Yeah.
In terms of last year to this year,
especially just right this very second, you know what I mean? That's the whole point of bringing Will Howard in was because he was polished in here.
Yes, and I think there is a chance that at the end of the day, if there is a player to blame the loss on, it would be because of him. And I swear, if I see anybody who listens to this podcast tweet at him after the game because they do lose, you're going to be blocked.
Yeah, be gone. There's no sense in it.
But it's the rawest game that you could probably get out coming out of the gate. This Texas team is strong. They have a quarterback that's probably going to get drafted next year.
Yep.
But it's the best litmus test you could get for both the Big Ten season and beyond.
Correct.
Because I don't think even when you play Penn State, Oregon, they're not Texas.
No,
you know what I mean.
But my big thing that I'm kind of stuck on.
Okay.
Ohio State won. Yes, the quarterback battle. I am probably going to take Arch, even though I think that I'm lower on Arch than a lot of people. While also not just being super into sand, but it does have to be Arch. I know that Ohio State has gotten acclimated to losing talent and replacing talent.
Yes,
Texas is a massive school, big ordeal, but they haven't really had to acclimate to that yet. And you are losing a ton of talent. Kelvin Banks is gone. Jahdae Barron is gone. Matthew Golden is gone. Quinn Ewers is gone. Jaden Blue is gone. Gunnar Holm is gone. It's so many talented guys on that roster last year are out. You have to elevate a new batch. I don't know that they can nail that on the first round. I know Sark's a good coach. I know he knows how to evaluate talent.
Yes.
But I don't think it's up. It's not running like a machine yet. And it can't after the first cycle. Because Sark's been here 4 years. So his first true cycle of new talent coming in, old talent, whatever.
True. Yeah.
His first actual batch of hand-picked kids are just now starting to leave.
Yes.
I would say Ohio State wins this game by, I don't want to say comfortably. I think they win probably by 2 or 3 scores. I think if this game happens again in the playoffs, might be more of a Texas game. It's a conversation at least.
Sure.
And more of a conversation than I think I'm willing to have right now.
I think the thing is that this game is going to be my expectation is that it's going to be the Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs game.
Yes.
Because through the regular season, you are going to be learning what the backfield's going to look like. You have James Peoples, you have C.J. Donaldson, who came from West Virginia. I kind of see it looking a little bit like we did last year with Judkins and Henderson of kind of trading off roles,
probably just
stepping up for each other. It's not the same
2,000-yard backs again.
Yeah, but I see them kind of sharing that, and there's a chance that they have a running back named Bo Jackson, who may get some playing time as well.
That feels like whenever you're recruiting people in the college football video game.
Oh yeah, and you're like, well, I gotta take him. He's
Tom Brady, a 4-star out of California just spawned in. Yeah, I wonder if that guy's going to be good.
The offensive line learned so quickly last year, especially after that Nebraska game, which was the most concerning game from Ohio State, even more so than their losses. And I'll say besides the Michigan game then also. But I think the offensive line kicked it into gear after that Nebraska game, figured things out. Defensive line is a little bit of a question mark. You've lost a lot of talent there. And also, Matt Patricia is their coordinator.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't understand it.
Nope.
It's if there's ever a person to like have little faith in, it's a coach with his record, respectfully.
Yes.
And so I'm fascinated, and I'll say this: I was not hot on Chip Kelly going into the last couple of years. I'm way less hot on Patricia.
No, totally fair.
And you know that I think that's what you'll hear across the board from a lot of different analysts and things like that.
Yeah, it's totally justified.
I think at the end of the day, this team is not going to be as good as last year. Mm-hmm. If they get a national championship and repeat, incredible, great. Okay. And then you still have another year of Jeremiah Smith, and you could probably do it a third time if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But
isn't that crazy?
At the end of the day, this is still a top team in the nation that I don't think will drop out of the top 10 if they do drop out of the top 5. And 95% of programs would sell their soul to have a team like this go on the field for them each week.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's an absurdly talented team.
Yes.
And we're going to see so many horrifying games come out of of production from so many of those guys that this week might not feel up to that level in my mind. But just wait, because if you get the win out of this, you've got opponents that aren't near as good as Texas on the schedule, and you're going to be able to see a lot of that juice, even if, Matt Patricia is kind of a weird wrinkle that you have to worry about this year. And
he could absolutely prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, but come on.
But realistically, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
It's just when you've been a coach that jumps around NFL teams and never really has a full. Nobody looked at a team and went, "Well, that's the Matt Patricia team." At least Chip Kelly was like, "Yeah, that's Chip Kelly's team."
Yeah, that's his offense. His fingerprints are all over that. But it's also just Matt Patricia got hired because he was in the Belichick tree, and then
I want to know what Ryan Day's connection is with that.
He made 2-ish years. He made 2 years with Detroit, right?
3 years. 3 years and fired.
He got all 3 years.
Maybe didn't make the third year.
Because I remember it being so actually woeful that it was like, yeah, we got to be done with this. It wasn't like Tom Sula bad out in San Fran.
Fired after 11 games in 2020, which might have been the full year.
Yeah. It actually might have.
5-11. He went 4-7. Yeah, so they won 1 game, lost 4 more after being fired.
Got it.
But yeah, so that's my big thing, or that's the only thing to really watch with this.
Yeah, I take Ohio State.
I'm gonna take Ohio State as well.
Yeah, I think we got to.
We'll go with that. That's the game that could really go either way, and I wouldn't be surprised. But it's a very good test to see what this Buckeye team is going to look like this year, and then I think set us up to kind of talk about it more down the road. So
yeah.
But that is all that we have for this week then.
Yes, sir, it is.
And that's fun and exciting. As always, remember that you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and then you can also get the Gold Standard and Offsides with Gabby Sorrentino on Fridays and Mondays, respectfully. Our episodes come out every Thursday. We'll, of course, be continuing to preview high school football and college football throughout the season, and try and get a little bit about other college sports as well as those seasons kick off and get more in gear. Video version on our Fox 19 YouTube and the Fox 19 Now website, and then of course search Fox 19 Now Sports wherever you get your podcasts to get the audio version.
Yes,
but that's all we have this week. We will see you next time.
Have a good one.